Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and this morning I'm looking at a book from Spiramus, who are well known as publishers of accountancy books, tax books and books relevant to legal professionals as well. The book I'm looking at is this book here. It's called The Taxation of Small Businesses, now in a 4th edition, and it's been written by Malcolm James. Let me have a look at the book first and show you it. That's the front cover. And that's the back, so you've got some idea of what it looks like. It's heavy, it's about 400 odd pages long. It's a small index at the back. I think that could have been perhaps expanded a little bit, but however, the paragraph numbering is extremely helpful, certainly when it shows you calculations for various things that need to be looked at. The table of authorities is fairly substantial, which you can see there. And right at the front, the table of contents is also very heavy. I'm very pleased with this book. It has quite a lot of case law, interesting case law in it as well. But the main purpose, I think, of the book is to provide some assistance for the sole trader and the small partnership, small business. Now, we've given it a title which is on the web and probably in the journals of a handy reference guide for all traders and tax advisors, updated to include the Finance Act 2011. And of course that's important because there's been a fairly substantial change with the new government from 2010. Let me read a little bit about what we've said anyway about the book. All traders and tax advisors, particularly those advising small businesses, in our view should have a copy of this book. The businesses for which the guide is most relevant and useful would, in our view, include partnerships, smaller ones of course, smaller companies and sole traders. As is said in the book cover itself, the book's overall objective is to cover such situations as are most likely to be encountered by such businesses and will be directly relevant, as I say, to these people. As the 4th edition incorporates the changes which have occurred because of the result of the Finance Act 2011, getting hold of a copy is, in our view, all the more important because it keeps you up to date with the professional changes that are taking place. And author Malcolm James reminds us that the book has attempted not just to set out the law in a particular area, but as appropriate the practice of HMRC as set out in their manuals, and that's of course very helpful because most of us don't have access to Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs manuals. Major topics include a broad spectrum of issues from taxation of business profits and employment to corporation tax, national insurance, etc. Like any work of reference on taxation, the book aims for a clear explanation of the relevant legislation with a view to assisting clients as much as possible in minimising their exposure to tax. Another major issue for the typical small business is whether it should incorporate or not, and that's always been a fairly substantial decision. Do the advantages of incorporation, for instance, outweigh the obligations of compliance and the expense involved? The book offers useful advice on helping the practitioner and his clients decide. It's also a general reference guide for the owners of small businesses themselves. In addition, there are any number of useful sources which are in the book. I certainly found that very helpful, which have been listed. And obviously there's a table of authorities which I showed you earlier. It was published in August 2011, so just last summer. So this is an up-to-date and indispensable handbook in our view for proprietors of small businesses, sole traders, tax practitioners advising such people and their clients alike. So thank you to Malcolm James and to Spiramus for an excellent publication. It's becoming a bit of a standard now and I'm glad to see it back again. Thank you. Bye-bye.